Merry Christmas. Happy fucking New Year. Carly, the producer, and I are just talking about things we're leaving behind, and we're leaving hoes behind in 2024. And that goes for me too. I'm leaving all y'all hoes behind. Man, woman, man, woman. Why do I always feel hammered doing solo episodes? Men and women. There we go. Leaving you behind. I deserve more. However, my shtick for 2025 is how lucky am I? So how lucky am I to be filming a podcast? How lucky am I to know Kari? How lucky am I? Like, I just want to be a little bit more intentional with being grateful for this life that I get to choose a lot of the things I do to live. Like, I was actually thinking recently, what if I just didn't have a podcast and I was just doing my sales job like 7 to 4? Like, what the hell? Where would my time be going? How different would my life be? Like, who would I be investing time in? Friends, relationships, family, stuff like that. And like, it's good to think about that because I love what I'm doing now, but it's just like a good reality check of like, okay, it's not all about podcasting. And I thought of that because when I was doing my 2024, like, highlight reel on Instagram, a lot of my peaks, I did peaks and pits because, me, I always like to show the serious things. That it's not all, rainbows and unicorns and butterflies. A lot of the peaks were podcast. I had my first, I hit 100 episodes, I made it to 100 episodes. That's huge in itself. I had my first photo shoot. I had my first live show. I outgrew my home podcast studio to be at Creators Guild. Like, so many great podcast things happen, and a few good personal things happen too. But I just, my friend Kiana was telling me that she went to a workshop where they were doing like life audits, like go by monthly and look at what happened in those months or during that time, good and bad, and just kind of like go back and just reflect. And so I did a little bit of that, and I was like, you know what? Like, I just want to balance my time a little bit better. So, but how lucky am I that I choose to do this, First of all, also, everyone's got the motherfucking flu up in here. It is taking people out. How lucky am I to not have the flu? Knock on wood. Like, this thing is scary, is taking people out. People cannot like walk. It feels like COVID all over again. Oh my God, knock on wood. But, and I hope I'm not just like manifesting myself getting the flu. It also feels just like I'm filming this on, I think it's January 6th. So it's a week before when it'll come out, but it's like the first Monday of 2025, and I took those 2 weeks off-ish over the holidays, which obviously I'll get into all those details. But absolutely was the hardest thing getting up and getting out of bed to work my real job this morning. Like, 2 weeks, I didn't even remember my password. I was on a call with a client and I was having a password issue, could not get into the thing that I needed to get into. I couldn't remember my password. It's been so long since I've worked, so that's pathetic. And I haven't filmed a podcast in like 3 or 4 weeks because I pre-batched them because I knew people were going to be busy for the holidays and stuff like that. So I just feel a little out of practice. So we're going to see how this episode goes. 2025... I kind of already started it by saying we're letting the hoes stay behind in 2024, but like, we need to talk about men. And I think I talked about this in my last solo episode where I said like, I'm a badass bitch, like start acting like it in all facets of my life. And I'm going to. And a situation happened, and it's a good situation. I think the way that I talk about it is going to sound very negative, but it's not. I met somebody in person on January 1st. Fun. It was actually an introduction from a mutual friend, and it's good. Like, it was good. He ended up reaching out, and we went on a date already. January 6th. Like, way to kick off the year right. Like, I'm saying, I want to say this again. Like, it was a positive experience. Positive guy. All things good. Nothing wrong. But then, like, I left the date and I texted my friend and I was like, all green flags. Like, oh my God, how exciting. And that's true. But then I was like, I'm really over the green flag, red flag thing, I feel like, because the date was good. The date was great. He met all expectations. He was lovely. Conversation was good. I'm attracted to him. Like, positive, positive, positive. But, like, nothing crazy happened. Like, nothing extraordinary happened. I mean, and it would be hard pressed to take me on a first date where anything extraordinary happened. I'm not saying I'm expecting that, but like, I'm just really tired of getting my expectations up. That's what it is. So like, I think I just want to be a little bit more even keeled. Like, I left a good date. The date went well, period. Like, I'm kind of sick of this, like, oh my God, green flags. He's this, that. He said this, that. Like, no, the date was good. And I would love to see him again. And hopefully it continues to be good. But like, yeah, I just feel like I'm like really giving like these guys a lot of credit because they're normal or because they like act right-ish. And it's like, you should act right. You should act normal. You should act like a nice human. You should open the doors. You should pick up the tab if you invited me out. Like, you should walk me to my car. Like, those are all things that he did. And those are all things that I enjoy and I like and I love. But like, let me bring down my excitement a little bit and like raise my bar a little bit. You know what I mean? With that said, Rocket Man is out. He was somebody who I had like a normal good date with. No. Okay, let's get vulnerable for a second. I didn't plan on bringing this up, but we ended up we talked for a total of like 2 months, only hung out really like a handful of times. But the last time I saw him, I left his house crying. And like, he didn't know that. He didn't see that. But I walked out of his door and I was crying. I have actually, the only time I've ever left a man's house crying was when I was raped. Besides that, this is the only other time. I felt like trash. I just felt, after we had a really great conversation a few times prior than that about like what we're both looking for, what we're interested in. He wanted to get to know me. We were like gonna date. We were gonna like do this thing. And then when I spent the night at his house the next time, it was nothing like what I had experienced before. I just felt very disconnected. I felt like thrown to the side. I felt just like really used. And I, the morning of, like, I left and he was just like weird and quiet and really dismissive and rude to me. And I just like, of course, in the moment made it like, oh, it's okay. Like, it's my fault, or like I did something. And it's just like, I left that man's house crying, called my sister, and she's like, Paige, this is obviously like, you cannot continue to talk to this man if you're leaving this man's house crying. Like, that's enough, you know? And I was like, I'm just confused. It's like, bitch, why are you confused? How are you confused? This was very intentional, crazy treatment from one human to another, let alone the guy that I'm interested in treating me so uninterested in me. So wasn't sure that I was going to bring that up, and I guess I just did. But anyway, Rocket Man is out. Feeling less than is out. Raising my bar is in. Like, how lucky are you to be in my stratosphere? You know, like, more of that, less of them. I'm just really looking for, who just said this? Was I listening to a pod? Someone just said, like, just show interest. Oh, it was, I was listening back to Spoiled Latina's episode last week. If you haven't listened to it, great episode. She was just saying, like, yeah, like, all a guy has to do these days is just like show interest, like, do something, be about it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, not so much has happened in the past 2 to 3 weeks since our solo, except for my road trip to California. Oh my gosh, can't wait to get into this. But do you guys remember I was like, gun to my head, am I going to stay home or am I going to go to California? And gun to my head, I said, I'm staying home. Like, I'm not going to drive. I'm not going to do it. I ended up getting a text message to work. You guys know I'm still, like, if any of you are listeners from the beginning, like, I'm still a costumer. I'm in Local 705. I used to work on TV and movie sets. And so randomly still, I haven't worked since like 2022, but I still get text messages and like still am on the roster and I still pay the union to be active, which like is going to be coming up for expiration soon, and I'm kind of feeling weird about that. But so I ended up getting a text message. I pretty much decide that I'm like, okay, I am going to drive home. Like, you know what? In 2025, I want to travel more. I want to explore more. I want to follow my gut more. I want to do all the things. And this trip is adding up to that. Like, go see my family. Go enjoy some downtime. Because I was just going to like sit on my ass and like work hard on the podcast, which like, yeah, would have been beneficial. But like, go enjoy your family. Go enjoy that time off. Like allow yourself to do that. So I was like, you know what? I am going to drive, and like, you know, I love Pedro so much. So we're going to road trip. We're going to have so much fun. Made that decision to go. And then I get a text message from someone saying, hey, you know, my name is so-and-so. I work for so-and-so, and we're doing a performance, or are you available from the 17th to the 26th for a performance in Houston, for a performance on Christmas Day in Houston? Beyonce? I was like, Beyonce? Didn't say that. And they didn't say that, but I was like, it's obviously Beyonce. What other performance on Christmas Day, first of all, do you need that many days of prep for? And but then there was a part of me that was like, is this like a Joel Osteen like mega church theater event? Like they're having a theater performance. So like for a minute I was like, I don't know, like should I do this or should I not? But I responded and I was like, can't do the 17th because I have my real job, but like I can do the 21st to the 26th. I'm in. So I was like, fuck my family, fuck California, fuck staying home, fuck Christmas with my, you know, friends and family here. Fuck Pedro. Like I'm going to get someone to come feed him. I'm going to go costume Beyonce's background dancers or the musicians or whatever. And they're like, cool, great. Like you're in. I'm like, awesome. Can I get some more information about the rate and like exactly what's expected of me? And like, what do the days kind of look like? Like just more information, which are standard questions that you ask in that job field. No response. A couple days later, I reached out and I was like, hey, like I do just want to confirm I am good to go. Like obviously it's around Christmas time. I'm trying to make other, you know, plans. And they were like, no, like you're confirmed. And I was like, okay, can I get XYZ? Can I get information about the rate, what the days kind of look like, and who I'm going to be responsible for? Like if you would have said, are you responsible for Beyonce? I just wouldn't be well equipped for that. Like I've been out of practice for, obviously I know that wouldn't be the case, but I'm just trying to figure out like what's my skill set needed. I've been out of practice. What do I need to bring? What's my kit look like? You know? No response. Again, a couple days later, I was like, I'm starting to feel all these same anxieties that I used to feel when I was in this business. You are so worthless to these people. Like, I'm talking about production, like the big production guy, like obviously not Beyonce, but like the Netflixes, the Warner Brothers, the A24s, the Fox, like you're just so worthless. Like they're leaving, they've said, yes, you're hired. So reserve your time for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, over that whole week. But you're not giving me any of the information I asked for. You're just leaving me hanging on this thread. And by the way, you haven't even told me that it's Beyonce's performance. I just know that. And I mean, I knew that in my gut, but then also a few days like into me knowing this information, I received a DM from someone in California saying like, hey, are you doing the Beyonce show? If you hear from so-and-so or so-and-so, they're doing the show. And I was like, oh, perfect. It's confirmed. It's Beyonce. Oh my God. Yes, I'm doing it. I'm just waiting to hear back, you know? And so I get to work. It was a Friday morning and I was telling my coworker, I was like, you know what? I've just decided I'm going home. If I don't hear from them within 2 hours of the information I need, I'm going to drive home. Like I need to go buy a road trip snacks. I got to go buy Pedro a seatbelt for the car. Like I've been putting off this trip because I thought I was going to go make a shit ton of money and work my ass off for 7 days, but I'm not going to do this. Like, it's just bringing me back to that like anxiety, like literally PTSD from this industry. As I'm saying this to my coworker, literally I'm speaking to her and they text me, hey Paige, like, I can't remember what she said. Something like, oh, like, has this person reached out to you about this? And I was like, no, can we get on the phone? She doesn't respond. I call her later. I say, hey, she's like, hey, Paige. I'm like, hey, like before I, commit to this job, I need to know what the rate is because it's just different. Like here in Houston and LA, like they're going to try and pay me less. And like, depending, I might have taken it, I might have not. And she's like, so and so hasn't called you. I'm like, no. And if I don't hear from her within 2 hours, I'm gonna go through with my other commitment. She's like, okay, I'll tell her to call you. I hear nothing. I finally tell my sisters, okay, it's for sure. I'm not turning back. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not gonna sit around and wait on these production people. Like, I can't do it. So I make the decision. I go, I'll get on my stuff. I get prepped to drive. 3 hours into my drive to California, I get a text message from the person who's supposed to be texting me. Hey, it's so-and-so. Can you come in right now? And the rate is this. And blah, blah, blah. And I said, that's really unfortunate. No, I was supposed to hear from you yesterday, and I've gone through with my other commitment. She's like, oh my God, like we're going so crazy. We're flying people in from LA to come costume. Like, we need more help. We need more help. And I was like, sorry. Like, and no shade to this person. Like, it's not her fault. I know it's all production and craziness, but no. And it just, like, I was so validated in my decision to go home and make that call on myself, because and it's hard. I know people that in this industry don't understand, but a lot of my like friends and coworkers were like, oh my God, like that's so unorganized. How could you ever work for that? And it's just like, that's just how it was. That's just how it was. I would get a text message with a pin drop. Used to be back in the day. Can you be here in 20 minutes? Okay. Like, that is how that industry is. And like, I just do not miss it at all. So anyway, by the way, I'll tell you all about my road trip and stuff. But as I'm at my road trip, I continuously start to get text message from more people from the Houston Beyonce Bowl. Hey, I got your number from so-and-so. Can you come in? Hey, I got your number. Are you available? Hey, I heard you're a Houston costumer. Can you come in? No. And on Christmas Eve, I woke up to a text message from somebody who said, hey, I got your number from so-and-so. We're trying to get last minute costumers for the Beyonce show. Can you work? And I said, no, unfortunately, I can't. Like, I'm not going to go into the detail with all these people who don't even know the situation. And she goes, okay, well, do you know where we can rent steamers and wardrobe racks? And do you know anyone else that could help? I just didn't respond. No. And maybe I'm so far out of the industry now that, like, I'm just being a bitch, but I was so annoyed. Merry Christmas. Happy fucking New Year. No, I don't. Find them yourselves. And guess what? Like, you would have been so less fucked if I was there, because I do know where to get steamers and wardrobe racks here in town. And I don't know other people that could work. That would be a lie. But anyway, so had the chance to costume for Beyonce Bowl. Would it have been such a cool experience? Yes. Would I have gotten paid a good amount of money for working my ass off? I mean, if you put the money towards the hours, I would. Honestly, it's like slave labor at that point. No. But so, like, cool to be there on Christmas Day at NRG Stadium. Like, the performance was insane. Like, but it's not even like I need that to put on my resume anymore. I'm not even doing that job anymore. So I'm proud of the decision I made. Like, when I watched the 13-minute like show on Netflix, like, did I absolutely sob crying thinking like, oh my God, how cool would it have been to have been there, and like, how amazing is Beyonce? She's just so talented and so emotional and so amazing. But we're going to now talk about my actual road trip to California. But when I got there, a few days into it, my sister told me, she's like, you're not the first person who's ever owned a dog. Like, she told me to, like, relax. Okay, I'm being a little exaggerative. But she did tell me, like, you're talking to your dog too much. And I don't quite understand what she means, because I talk to myself. Like, even if Pedro wasn't there, I'd be talking to myself. Like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But anyway, she was basically just saying that, like, okay, come on, Pedro, let's go to the bathroom. Or, okay, Pedro, I'm going to go to the bathroom. Or, okay, Pedro, let's go get dressed. So she was saying it was very irritating, but you know what? Fuck you. She said that I'm a late dog mom and that I need to calm down, but he just deserves all of my love, and like, he just gives me so much in return. And it's like, even sitting here right now, I just can't wait to go back to him. Okay, so the drive to California, let's talk about that. I basically, because I didn't have time to freaking because I didn't have time to prepare, and I don't do things last minute. I went to PetSmart last minute. I got Pedro all of his stuff. I went to Walmart and I got all of my snacks, and like, I got so many snacks, turns out, but like, I fall asleep while driving. I'm not sure if you guys know that about me. And so I just was like, at any given time, given moment, I'm going to need to be sticking a hot Cheeto in my mouth or a Swedish fish in my mouth. Like, I have to have all options available because I can be drinking a Red Bull and fall asleep. So I knew that I was going to have to take drastic measures. So I get all the stuff situated, and I was just kind of like, I'm just going to be last minute, cool, blase. I'm going to leave it like 9 a.m. Like, I'm going to finish packing my stuff in the morning and just really go with the flow of things. And I actually ended up waking up at like 4 a.m. so excited. So I just packed up the rest of my car and decided to vlog. Literally was like, I should be a vlogger. I'm a Instagrammer, I'm a podcaster, and I should just vlog now out of nowhere. So charged my camera up real quick and finished packing up the car, and off Pedro and I went to California. It was the best drive. I wish I could say that I had some like mental like breakthrough or like really was able to like dissect my life, and like I can't say that I was able to. Like, I cannot quiet my mind doing anything, but I just really enjoyed the quiet, the views. Like, everyone was always like, oh my God, getting out of Texas is going to be crazy. Like, it's so boring and ugly until you do, and blah, de, blah, de, blah. And oh my gosh, that just reminded me of my niece. My niece asked me, why do I say blah, blah, blah at the end of every sentence? Ew, gross. I need to stop doing that. It's like sing like all the time. Anyway, so I just listened to podcasts. I listened to music. I really am sick to death of, because the only albums that I know from like front to back are Fly of the Dixie Chicks or the Chicks, and Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill. And also I'm pretty far into memorizing every single new song of GNX for Kendrick Lamar. So I'm sick to death of those 3 albums, to be honest with you, because it's better to stay awake if I like know the words to the songs that I'm singing. So just had a lovely time overall. Like, not a bad thing to say about the drive there. We did end up I'm not sure if I said this already, but I chat GPT'd the route. Somebody had said, like, I had asked on Instagram for recommendations, and someone was like, just chat GPT your route and what you're looking for. And so I just said, like, I'm a single female traveling with a dog, looking to stay at places within 10 miles from the freeway, wanting to sightsee. And it just like made me a route. It was so convenient, so great. I stayed pretty close to that, but like, I was also open to like stay an extra night if I needed to. I just wasn't sure what kind of vibe I was going to be into, or like if I was going to be staying awake, to be completely honest. We ended up staying at we ended up stopping at some gas station, which, like, I do think that there's been a murder there. Like, one bad gas station out of the 4 or 5 I stopped at, I guess, is pretty good odds, but like, it was really scary. There was like blood on the walls. Ugh, no. Anyway, stopped at the hotel for the night in Las Cruces, New Mexico. It took me all day to get out of Texas. That's so crazy. But I do feel like I can drive anywhere now because of how long and how great I did. Shout out La Quinta for being dog friendly. Shout out for steam cleaning the carpets, but like, you can't steam clean the carpets and then like have the room available for someone to stay in like until the carpets are dry. Like, it's just really disgusting. I took off my shoes and stepped in wet carpet with my socks. Oh my God. Pedro did not like the wet carpet. Anyway, whatever. It was fine. We woke up really early the next morning, got on the road, got to California by 5-ish p.m. And honestly, it was just great. Like, I was exhausted from my trip. Like, I was also just feeling like blah, because I was just like so full of junk to keep, entertained. So I just like had a delicious salad for dinner and had a whiskey and went to bed pretty much. And then Christmas Eve and Christmas itself, just like low key calm as it always is at my sister's house, or how we used to do Christmas, I guess, as a family until things got weird. But yeah, it was just cool. It's typically open door policy. Like, people can come in, people can come out, like friends of friends, family, whatever. But it was kind of quiet this year. We just like played Mario, opened gifts. I didn't do gifts because I'm a broke ass. But I will be making up for that in January, which like made me so uncomfortable. But It's fine. It's fine. I have to look out for myself. That's what my therapist said. And they were all super understanding. Even my little sweet little niece. She's like, you gotta take care of yourself, Auntie P. I know, I do. I'm sorry. I'm a fuck up. Sorry, I'm putting all my money into this podcast. But yeah, it was just really lovely. So I'm really, like I said, I'm just really happy with the decision to go home and spend it with my family and friends. I went to Egg Plantation a million times. Honestly, like next time I just need to go to Egg Plantation every single day. It's just the best restaurant ever. And it's like probably not the best restaurant. Like I think it's just like feels like home to me or something, the vibe, but like love Egg P. Best Bloody Marys in the world ever. I went hiking twice, which is what I say I missed from California the most. I went to Manhattan Beach. I did want to take Pedro to the beach. That was the whole point of going there. And then I realized it's not a dog-friendly beach, which is crazy because I lived there for 3 years and I did know that. But anyway, that's besides the point. He saw the water. That's all that matters. And I'm really a crazy dog mom. And what else? Went out a couple times with some friends, got some drinks. It was just really good to be back. And that was the only time I was there in 2024. I only went to California once in 24 and it was just like 3 weeks ago at this point. So I'm happy I went. And then, okay, so the drive back, just kind of a long story, but to make it short, I thought I was being like super great and like planning ahead my trip. And I was going to stop at the Prada storefront, which is on the side of the freeway in Marfa, Texas. And then stay at this hotel, which was recommended to me by another one of my friends in Alpine, Texas. So I was like, perfect. I mapped it out. It was 14 hours with the time change. If I leave at 4:30 a.m. California time, it's going to be 5:30 p.m. Texas time with the gas station stops, da-da-da-da-da. I booked my hotel, non-refundable. Cool. Love it. Can't wait. See you tomorrow. And then I get in the car the next morning and I put in my maps and it says I'm going to be there at 8:30 p.m. That was very confusing. I'm still very confused about the time change. Like, I don't think the math is mathing in my opinion. I literally am just like, where did I go wrong? Like the Apple Maps, I don't know. It's just stupid. Like 14 hours from Houston time. Yeah, that adds up. But like I was in California. Like, are we taking those hours into account? I don't know. Anyway, so I wasn't going to stop at that sign at 8:30 p.m. First of all, on the side of the freeway at nighttime. That's crazy. Number two, like not even a good photo for a near-death experience. And 3, like tired, exhausted, like that just doesn't make any sense. So then I just ended up calling to get credit for a different time to the hotel, which adds up because I want to explore and do fun things in 2025 and for the rest of my life anyway. So I'm going to go back and do that. It's actually like a tourist attraction. It's like by Big Bend National Park too, which I'm going to be going to with Pedro. Yay. And what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So then I ended up just deciding to drive straight through, which was an absolute fucking disastrous mistake. Highly, do not recommend, would not recommend. Like, it was a bad idea. I knew it then, and I definitely knew it after. I was all good up until the 18th hour, and I was absolutely nodding off. So the next 6-7 hours, because the total drive was 25 hours, I think, with the time change. I don't know. 25-ish hours was the longest 6-7 hours of my life. Because I kept nodding off, so I kept having to pull over to take a quick little schluffy, a quick little nap. So 20-minute naps had me feeling good. I would step outside, get the cold air, and then I would get back on the road again. But like what should have been, I should have gotten home at 5:30. I think I should have gotten home at 5:30 a.m. and I didn't get home till 7:30 a.m. because I had to stop every hour to take a nap, which disastrous, bad decision. However, I'm proud of myself that I wasn't just like, oh, I'm a beast, I can beat this falling asleep thing and like keep driving and then like kill myself and there's somebody else on the road. So I did the right thing by doing that. But yeah, I got home at 7:30 a.m. the next day on New Year's Eve. And that's the other thing. I didn't want to be driving like too late into New Year's Eve night or New Year's Day because like just another added risk for driving and drunk drivers and stuff. So got home at 7:30 a.m., put Pedro on the couch. I didn't bring up his crate and I was just sleeping in my bed. He was very confused because typically he's locked in his crate and like doesn't see me. I don't think he's ever seen me in my bed. So he came in to check on me a few times and then was like, honestly, a really good boy. I was just like, go lay down elsewhere, bye. But then I woke up and like got my life together and just wanted to have like a productive day and like healthy, good start to the new year. And Pedro was just really acting like he was the one who was awake for 25 hours. When I tell you he was sleeping for 24 hours, he was like unbothered, never told me he needed to go to the bathroom. Like I would just stop every 4 to 5 hours for him. But like he was just really being dramatic. And you know what? To be honest, he's still acting dramatic about the whole trip. I think he's just really confused because we were doing so much every day. And then at my sister's house, there's like chickens. And there was also a coyote that he saw and helped save the chickens from. And like, it's just a lot of kids in and out. Oh, it's a lot of action. And so anyway, trip was great. Highly recommend. I feel like I can take a road trip anywhere because of what I did. And like, how fun was it? Just like a last minute cool little trip. Like, how fun am I? I'm just like this new fun person. What else about the trip? I think that was it. Oh, that was it about the trip. But now, okay, so back kind of to like the Beyonce Bowl thing. I got asked to work this Gwen Stefani situation. And I don't think I'm gonna do it. How lucky am I to be asked to work for Gwen Stefani? How lucky am I to work for production? How lucky am I, right? Like that's my whole shtick for 2025. And like it's so true, it's so right. And like I do feel very cool and amazing for that. But it's just proving to be a little bit more stress than I anticipated. Like it's just reminding me again of the feeling that I felt from Beyonce. I mean, they're being very nice and communicative, this production team, but like what am I doing? Like, what's the purpose for me to go costume Gwen? Like, I don't need to put this on my resume. Same thing as Beyonce. I don't plan on doing this for my life anymore. I don't need to, like, I was thinking like, oh my God, cool. I can bring her like some podcast merch and like, cool. Yeah, I would do that. But like, I don't know. I just feel, you know what? You know what it is? I just feel like I'm a little like, okay, don't get that twisted. I'm not above Gwen Stefani. That's not what I'm saying. I'm a little like I'm on the other side of things now. That's what I feel like. Oh, I just had that revelation. I'm on the other side of things. Like I am, and again, like you guys, I'm not like getting too big for my britches here. Like I know I have a very small podcast and nobody knows about me. That's fine. But like it's the same way I felt when I was at the Call Her Daddy, like Call Her Daddy live podcast at the Unwell tour in Austin. And I was with people backstage watching it rather than in the audience. I just feel like that's where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not going to do it. And to be honest with you, it's just like doesn't really make too much sense. Like I'm going to have to get somebody to watch Pedro because I'm not going to be home to feed him, to walk him. Like it's going to be a long day. I'm going to have to take time off my regular work when I'm just kind of getting situated back at work from the new year. So it's also on my actual birthday. And like, I don't know if I want to be doing that. So I'm going to have to say no. I'm going to have to say no to Gwen Stefani, Banas. My birthday is coming up. And so I think this episode will be out after my birthday, potentially. Can't be sure. But I was thinking I wanted to do like a B-Day roast episode. Like, I don't know if it's going to be a bonus episode or if it'll just be an additional episode in January. But I think how fun would that be to like have people roast me? Kind of like send in your wines of the week about me. I'm into it. I don't think I'll be too offended. I don't think my feelings will be hurt. I think I'm like I think I can roll with the punches. Right? Right. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really have a wine of the week. Actually, I have a wine of the week for something I said. So I'm looking for places for my birthday brunch and shopping around, looking at places. And I said something so rude, kind of, or like so... Was it passive aggressive? I think passive aggressive. I was talking to the manager of the restaurant and I was like, hey, like, I know you don't take reservations. I'm in person, by the way. Like, I know you don't take reservations, but I wanted to, I guess, alert you that there's going to be, 20 to 30 people coming in on this day at this time. And he's like, okay. He's like, yeah, we don't take reservations. He's like, that sounds good. Just kind of getting some information from you. I was like, I guess I just want to like, if you want to like staff accordingly or not, I mean, up to you, you know? He's like, okay, cool. He's like, yeah, let's go down to the host stand. He's like, let me check the reservation book. And I was like, you have a reservation book, but you don't take reservations? And he's like, well, we have an influencer coming. We have an influencer coming in that weekend. I just need to like double check what day of the weekend it is. It's supposed to be either 25 people or 125 people, and they don't know yet. And I was like, you're taking reservations for 25 or 125 people? I don't know. I just felt like I was so shitty. Like, I just didn't, like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And I just like had a real, like, in that moment, I was like, oh, that was gross. Like, it reminded me of one time I was in Vegas when I was like very underage, and the cab driver was driving really slow and I was really hammered drunk. And I distinctly remember saying, like, the faster you get us there, the bigger your tip, because like obviously the faster you get us there, you know, the less the fare is gonna be, and like I'll tip you more. Ugh, skis ball thing to say. I was so grossed out with myself, and my friend was so grossed out and this reminded me of that. So my wine of the week is me. In January 2025, how am I gonna be my own wine of the week? Whatever. It's about self what's the word? Self reflection, self-awareness. Yeah, that's what we're calling it. Anyway, so I'm checking myself, check yourself, and I hope you guys enjoyed this chaotic single solo episode that I haven't done in many weeks. And I love you guys. I'm gonna go home to Pedro now, and I'll see you after my birthday. And if I do a birthday roast, send them in. Be nice, but make them roasty. You know, don't be too nice. Love you, Whiners. I'll see you next Thursday. Bye.